The vast expanse of space was calm, almost too calm. The galaxy's systems moved with unspoken grace. Planets orbited their stars, civilizations grew, and peace reigned among the most advanced species. Throughout the centuries, there had never been a reason to sound the red alert. No species had ever posed a significant enough threat to the others. But all that changed in one moment, when a small, insignificant planet called Earth triggered the alarm. It began quietly. A single signal, faint and strange, was picked up by an ancient satellite stationed on the edge of the galaxy. At first, no one took it seriously. Earth, a primitive world still struggling with wars, pollution, and technology that barely touched the stars, could not possibly be a threat. But that signal, it was unlike anything the galaxy had ever received. The hologram room, Galactic Central Command inside the towering Galactic Central Command. A sleek metallic room hummed with the low voices of highly ranked officers. The holographic screens flickered, their data constantly updating with information from across the galaxy. In the center of the room, Commander Alan stood, his eyes locked onto the display in front of him. He had seen countless transmissions from far-off civilizations. Some had been curious, others were malicious, but none had ever been so puzzling. The data stream flickered again. Earth, that insignificant blue world in the farthest corner of the galaxy, was sending out regular bursts of strange signals. Each burst grew stronger, more defined. It was clear now. Earth had developed something new, something advanced. But what? Elon's hand hovered over a button, his mind racing. He had studied the primitive humans in the past, seen their potential, their stubbornness, and their rapid, uncontrolled growth. He knew that humans could never be underestimated. But a red alert? It was unheard of, Commander, said a voice from behind him. It was Tessa, his second-in-command, a sharp-minded officer from the Aphelion Ascendancy. I see it, Tessa, Alan replied, never taking his eyes off the display. But I don't understand. Why now? Why Earth? Should we contact the Council? She asked. If this is what I think it is, it's beyond anything we've dealt with before. Alan finally turned, his face set in an expression of grim uncertainty. No planet in history has ever triggered a red alert, not even in times of war. This is different. We need answers. Galactic Council. The emergency meeting. The Galactic Council was composed of the leaders of the most advanced species in the universe. The Verlex Dominion, the Aphelion Ascendancy, the Oros Confederation, and many others. They governed the galaxy with an iron will, ensuring that peace reigned between civilizations. Their meetings were often calm affairs. Nothing ever got out of hand. But now, for the first time, they were forced to meet in an emergency. A red alert had been sounded, and the cause was a single planet, Earth. The council hall, a massive circular chamber, buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from different species sat at the large table, each trying to process what had just happened. A holographic projection appeared at the center of the room. It was Earth, its continents clearly visible, floating in space like a blue marble. But there was something off about it. Something had changed. Something was happening. I don't understand, said President Thalek of the Verlex Dominion. His reptilian eyes narrowed as he studied the image. This world has nothing special. They haven't even mastered faster-than-light travel. Not yet, replied Counselor Nalira from the Aphelion Ascendancy, her voice calm but filled with concern. But that's the point. They have something new. Something we can't even comprehend yet. The projection of Earth flickered again. This time a pulse of energy rippled across the screen, signaling a new development. The room grew silent as every representative exchanged uneasy glances. You all know the rules, said Supreme Advisor Zorath, an ancient being who had seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations. We cannot ignore this. The red alert means only one thing. A serious, unpredictable threat is on the horizon. But Earth? They're not ready for this kind of power. Are we sure it's them? Asked Counselor Vetra, a member of the Oros Confederation. Could it be another species trying to confuse us? Alan's voice interrupted the growing murmur of voices. He had arrived just in time to speak. I have seen the transmissions. It is Earth. And whatever they've discovered, they've triggered something we cannot understand. This cannot be ignored. The Legacy, humanity's first starship on Earth, deep in the heart of humanity's first space exploration program, a group of scientists and engineers stood in front of a massive, gleaming ship. It was sleek, unlike anything seen before, elegant but deadly. They called it the Legacy, and it was more than just a starship. It was a symbol of humanity's rise, their leap from a war-torn planet to the stars. Captain Alara Rhodes stood at the forefront, gazing at her ship. She was a young woman, but the weight of her role pressed heavily on her shoulders. She had led the team that had designed the ship, and she was the one who would now take it into the unknown. Her mission was simple: show the galaxy that humanity was no longer a species to be underestimated. The Legacy wasn't just a ship. It was a statement. "We're ready," Alara said, turning to her crew. Dr. Marcus Tan, the chief engineer, nodded. "The synthetic matter generator is stable. The quantum thrusters are online. We're good to go. But are we sure this is the right move?" asked Lieutenant Juno Hall, the ship's communications officer. "We've barely explored our own solar system. Going out into the galaxy, it feels risky." Alara smiled, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. "We have no choice. They'll never see us coming. And when they do, they'll know that humanity isn't here to beg for a place at the table. We're here to claim it." With those words, the crew prepared for launch. The Legacy's engines hummed to life, and as the countdown began, Alara couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to change the galaxy forever. Galactic Central Command. The tense report back at Galactic Central Command. The transmission from Earth was received. It was loud, filled with static at first, but the signal eventually cleared. What came next was a direct communication from Alara Rhodes herself. "This is Captain Alara Rhodes of the Legacy." Her voice rang through the holographic room. "We come in peace, but we are not asking for permission. Humanity has arrived, and we demand to be heard." The room was silent. There was no immediate response. The council members exchanged confused glances. "I repeat," Alara's voice continued, "we demand recognition. We are no longer a species that can be ignored. We are humanity, and we are here." The transmission ended abruptly. Silence followed. Commander Aylin's face was tense. "What do we do now?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Zorath stood, his ancient eyes scanning the room. "We prepare for the unexpected, and we make sure Earth does not make the same mistakes the others made."